I'm ready.
We're already rolling anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I know we are. So let's just flow into it.
So let's just intro ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. So we go straight away for him first.
So my name is Steve. I'm a 52-year-old builder, and the reason I'm doing this podcast is I wanted to invite my friends, and I want it to be informative, funny. It's a Friday nightclub. This is the tradition of a Friday nightclub. These are the three stalwart members, really. Myself, my friend Jay, and my son Brad. So there's a lovely age gap between us all. So I think it gives three very different perspectives. And we hope this podcast is something that just everybody will enjoy. Right. What do you think, guys?
Well, I'm Jay. I can genuinely say this is the first Friday night club whereby we've got microphones, lights, cameraman.
I've got to agree with that.
But I would like to thank our sponsors, Monster, for the drinks. Thank you very much for that. It's going to be definitely interesting. Let's sort of see where the conversation goes. I mean, leading on to Brad.
Right, I'm Brad. I'm 22, and I am a builder. So, yeah, main reason I wanted to do this podcast was really I feel like between the three of us, we have a great contrast of opinions, me being younger, Jay being the middle,
Rude,
and Steve being the older.
The old guy.
But that generation gives generational gaps because there's 15 years between all of us. I'm 22, 37, and 52. Just checking.
Yeah, I'd like to be 51 or 50 would be better.
Yeah, no, I feel like we've got a great contrast of opinions here, and I feel like we've got an interesting perspective. Me and Dad are builders, so we're builders. And Jay, you do office clearing, don't you?
Yeah,
and,
office clearance.
Storage. Office clearance, that's a little bit tough, isn't it? I don't think it's really quite office clearance. It's more like...
What would you say, to be exact?
I'd say
high-end office furniture company.
Office furniture, wheeler dealer. I think that pretty sums up. I think that pretty much sums it up.
Jay is the IKEA of office furniture. He is the poo daddy of the the office furniture in Bournemouth area. And no, that's also, come on, we got to be fair and just say about self-storage as well.
Yeah, self-storage, Bournemouth storage,
that's
representing. I don't know if it's gang signs or anything, but we'll throw up a few. I'll probably insulting someone somewhere, but Bournemouth storage.
Yeah, keep your hands all quiet. I'm not doing
no gang signs.
Yeah, well, he's what he is, brother.
I feel first topic is probably for us has to be talking about the current state of building, and I feel like. I feel like a lot. We talk a lot about this, obviously, us three, because it impacts us too personally a lot.
And as an end user,
definitely.
Definitely seen like changes, 100%. From an end user's perspective, you see it all the time on Facebook. People are like, "Oh, nightmare builders," tried to cut prices and tried to do this, and now I've got a terrible job and like. Just horrendousness that people are putting on Facebook saying they've had a terrible job. Can they get other tradespeople in? But they clearly haven't learnt anything because they're going, I've got this terrible job done. Does anyone want to come in for £120 a day and come and do this?
That is the problem.
Yeah.
I don't think people actually, they're having, I think, like, the fairness to builders, and I think being a builder, being on the receiving end of pretty much everything, because of what I've been through, I would turn around and say, look, as much as the builder can be at fault sometimes, and there is builders that don't do things right, and we've seen that over time and everything else, but I also think the biggest problem with it is the client actually doesn't understand the builder. And no one actually understands working in the building industry. You've got to trust the builder that you have come around the house. He's coming into your home. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. How do you trust that guy to come in the house and do that? You just have a conversation with him, or he gives you a price. And how do you know necessarily that because the guy's giving you a price and it's 150 quid or it's 150 grand, that he's any good? And I think this is the biggest problem with this industry. It's all right turning around, going, there's loads of problems with the builders. There's a lot of really fucking good builders out there. I know there is because I've worked with some. I work with some now, and there's got to be more out there. And you see the housing and the sort of quality of some of the houses that we could generate in this country. But the problem is there isn't enough of us. So if you look at it now, as far as I understand it, they're sort of saying it's around a sort of 250, 300,000 builder shortage. That's now.
Well, that's a captive audience, isn't it?
Yeah, trouble is now, is in my understanding, having spent pretty much 30 years training people to come into this industry, at best, and Brad is probably, and Mickey are my two best examples. Unfortunately, Mickey's not here, but my two best examples. Brad, super intelligent, genius when it comes to this stuff, and it's quite clear in his genes. But he's still going to take 3, 4, maybe 5 years to get to that full extent of builder. Brad's very quick. It's 3 years since he's been doing this. How much he's learnt in those 3 years. But, like Brad would admit, and I know, you haven't learned everything. And if we work in the building industry every single day, right? I'm 40 years pretty much in this industry. I grew up on building sites, everything else there, right? I don't know everything. So how the fuck does someone that comes into build, you go, I want you to come around my house and I want you to build this and actually understand what the fuck are they doing? Because I meet so many people that always turn around and go, oh, I know a lot about building. I built 3 houses. Okay, fuck me. I built 3 houses in my first month of working in my bits as carpenters and stuff. Build 3 houses is no way an instruction on how to build housing because every house is fucking different. And I know through my experience, I'm 40 years of building, I'm still lad. So my point is the whole idea behind this whole podcast, the lost art, the documentary that's coming and everything else out is to give that awareness to people now to start actually understanding how the building industry works. If you understand how it works, then it's so much easier to work in it. That solves your builder issue slightly. Now it's all down to the fucking builders to take responsibility and do their job properly.
Can I ask an actual question, right? I'm going to ask you both a question. This is from a client's perspective, okay? So obviously there's a lot of, trying to find the right builder. How do you know when to trust? Because majority of builders go, oh, you got to pay like 40% up front. And as an end user, sometimes, how can you trust that you're going to get the work done? Because there's so many scary things on Facebook with people having terrible jobs, builders running away with deposits. How can you safeguard yourself as an end user?
So that's a good point, and I get your point, but it's for both of you. It's not just the end user, it's the builder. So you're the end user, there's the builder.
Hi.
So
Hello there, nice to meet you. Sorry, a backwards handshake.
you, Brad, agrees to do your job for you, 100 grand.
100 grand.
So Brad turns around and says, you know what, I'd like 20% up front, 20 grand, because it's going to cover the cost of all the gear and materials, right? So you're standing there going, oh, right, I don't know whether I should trust this builder, give him this 20 grand. But then how does the builder know he can trust you to give him any money?
Exactly.
So
Chicken and
now
the egg, isn't it?
it's a partnership.
Yeah.
You have to agree. You got to like the guy that you're inviting into your house. You don't like him just because he gives you a cheap price, because it's not about being the cheap price, it's being the right builder. And so many people make the wrong fucking decision because they're governed by the price of the job instead of looking at the person they want to build their house. Now, I've just finished building a house for a client where the client chose me. I was chosen to build the job. So once I billed him and said, I want a deposit, he's gone, oh, no problem, bosh, sent the money over. So you're both in it. You're in it as the end user because you got to trust the builder, but the builder's also got to trust you as being the end user. You're going to pay your fucking bill. Otherwise, why is he going to turn up at your house, bring all his men in there, start spending money from the first day onwards, not assured that you're going to pay? The moment he works on that site, he's assured you he's going to work. So you need to assure him you're going to pay. So it's a deal. It's a partnership. You have to get on with the guy you're working with. If you don't, it won't ever work.
Oh, no, definitely.
I think a lot of people don't quite understand the true existence of who a builder actually is. A builder is someone that comes around your house and is there to make your house better, not worse, better. And a lot of people have lost faith in that, and it's partly to the whole corporate world we've built around building has created the problem that's within it. And the real problem is that we actually aren't paying the guys that are working in this industry a fair and a reasonable wage for what the works they're actually doing. This work is not easy. The average person can't walk on and become a builder. It takes years and years of experience to ever get to a point that you can actually truly say you master this craft. I've been doing it for 4 years, and I would say I still need another 5, and that's crazy. But I've picked up on this quicker than most.
But what you got to remember is, as well, as an end user, it's punted on the telly. Oh, just buy a house from auction and you can flip it and you can do this. And when you're talking with your builder, it's well easy.
It's
just
easy.
Haggle them down
Channel
on
4
price.
tells you all about how easy it is. Grand Design's
definitely.
just picking a show, but Grand Designs. Oh, you go on there and these people go, oh yeah, go build this mega house. And don't get me wrong, some people build some amazing houses and they've obviously employed some very good builders and stuff has been done very well. But there's also a lot in there that are going, oh, I didn't realise it was like this. I'm going to project manage it myself.
Yeah.
And generally, when those people turn around and say that, is when it all goes fucking wrong. It's a bit like my client saying, oh, building's easy. I tell you what, I don't need you anymore. I'll just do it myself. I go, go on then. Don't fucking phone me when it all goes wrong, because I am not coming in to help you out. Because at the end of the day, you make that decision to do it on your own and learn. Because I'm still fucking learning. I've been doing this 40 years. And my dad taught me. So I'm the next generation on. Brad's the next generation on. It's if you can keep getting taller, I think the biggest problem, the biggest issue with the building industry is everybody thinks they know, but nobody actually knows anything. And only the people that really know is how our builders that work in it. Let's face it, corporate housing builders, right? They build corporate houses. So they look here, they buy a piece of land, they go, oh yeah, we get 150 houses on there. We'll sell them for 50, they want to build them as cheap as possible. So they make as much profit as possible because they got shareholders to agree to and all this. They want to be announcing every year that they made 200 million. They don't give a fuck about a house they're building. They don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, but that's where the corporate world of this industry has
Exactly.
actually destroyed it.
But that's my point.
It's
Is
where
that
people
they've
are so
actually taken this industry apart.
Yeah, but they're profit driven now, not
Yeah.
actually governed by the quality of the product they're actually
I
producing.
don't know if you've seen any of the stuff on YouTube, on Instagram, where they got not site survey, but the guy comes in and does the
Site snagger.
He's
site
a snagger.
Yeah.
Wow. That is hilarious. He literally comes in, back again, Forks, and then he's like, the sink's hanging off, and this is.
Oh,
this isn't
now
right.
they've got to the point where they've got these professional snaggers.
Yeah.
That's how shit new house building's got. Because in the day when I worked on new house building, right, the site agent was the guy that went around and snagged the houses to make sure everything was all right, because he had a standard that he wanted to produce for everybody to move into, and you want to avoid customer relations and all that sort of stuff. So the site agent did it. Now building's gotten that bad, or has it got that bad? We're only seeing the examples, but, it's got that bad that you've actually got a job for people like snaggers now, because builders can't even build a house properly. There's
without
now
snagging their own work.
and I can't believe a client, when they're buying a new house, has got to employ someone to come around and snag it. So he's actually going to charge them. So when they're paying for this brand new house, it's a bit like buying a new car and then having someone else test drive it for you and drive it around, do the first 1,000
Yeah, the
miles.
gearbox is clonking a little bit.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not so
ooh.
happy with the window. I notice on the, every now and then when you push the window down, it squeaks or something like that. And then, so you want someone else
Well,
to
let's be honest. Like
fault test
a
your
great industry to
house
compare
is
building
fucking
to is
crazy.
the car industry.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, it's two vice versas because they're constructing something. So you're constructing a vehicle and you're constructing a house. So they're two good comparables of markets and quality. So you think the amount of quality control that goes into cars, and you look at the amount of quality control that goes into building, and then you can understand where the problem's at.
Yeah, but where does it come from? You're taking out the idiot out of the car making business, isn't you? You're taking a human out and giving it a robot.
Yeah.
So cars have become so much more accurate because they're built by machines and they're built by computers and stuff like that. And you're not taking out the idiot, because those handmade car days, and when Aston Martin used to hand make all
They
their
used to
cars.
sign the bonnets.
Yeah, they don't do all
literally used
that
to sign
shit
the bonnet,
anymore,
so
do
you
they?
could go back to Aston Martin and go, "Hey, I got a DB9, and the bonnet was done by Barry. Can I have Barry make
They'd
me
be
another
broken.
bonnet?" Yeah, the dangerous Barry. It was absolutely
It was
dangerous.
made by Break It Barry, and it's broken.
Yeah,
And
broken
it's a new
Barry.
bonnet.
But yeah,
But it's crazy, but this is the way that the world is going, because what we've forgotten about in building is the quality of it and the opportunity. Building is art, right? You build a house. I'm lucky that I built for everything from a bungalow to this here to building huge houses and doing
Take a
all
good
that
look
stuff. So I've
around.
seen a
This is
good spectrum of everything.
best place to be right now.
And I think, of seeing that we just don't value this anymore. I can even see it with my client when I work with my client. They don't value it anymore. It's just a house, bricks, mortar. To me, it's a home, but to them, it's a house.
Do you think that's because it's a throwaway society now? You only
Yes.
have to look at Tupperware to knives and forks to cups. People just throw stuff away, and because there is this throwaway society, no one ever sees the longevity in things. So, I could have a builder come in, or a plasterer, for argument's sake, do the wall, and he's saying that he could do it for £500, but then this guy said he would do it for £100 on the weekend because he's mates with Trevor's Amster's sister's nephew's cousin. And you end up with like straw on the wall. Like, there is this whole thing behind people wanting to get cheaper. It's got to be cheaper. It's got to be cheaper. Why aren't people proud to pay, big
fair
bucks?
rate, yeah.
Why aren't people proud? Like when I bought my watch, I could have gone and bought a Swatch watch, but I didn't. I was proud. I was proud to go and spend, what I thought was a fair price for a fair watch, for longevity and everything like that. I was proud to spend that money.
Yeah.
So why would I buy that watch and then go and have it serviced down the car boot sale for a geezer with a screwdriver and an old...
Well, that's actually certain people in society.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like there is a percentage of people that buy like these fancy products to stand out and be above the rest of the people, above the majority of the people, and then they spend cheaply on actually looking after it.
The maintenance on it.
Yeah, because they're not prepared.
You enjoying that? All I can hear over there is...
It was like my first ever can of Monster.
So I've introduced him to a mango
do you know
loco.
what? The last time I had an energy drink was like a place called Gilman's Point on Kilimanjaro, and they give you an energy drink when you get to the top, and it was a fucking Red Bull, right? And ever since that day, I hate fucking Red Bull because it just reminds me of that cherry blowback. But this is fucking nice.
Yeah. See, everything's moved on. Like, all right, Brad. Can we have a bib?
Yeah. We need
Runner.
Runner.
Can we have a bib?
Brad
Hold on, I'm just dribbling.
Chinny wipe. I haven't done that for a few years, Brad.
So obviously you've been in the building industry for a long time. What has been some of the biggest changes that you've seen as
To be honest with you, honest with you, not a lot. There's no innovation. There is innovation. I'll take that back. I think there's
not
let's
enough
rethink about that.
There's not enough innovation.
Like the style of housing, the way it's built, everything else is pretty standard. Roofs haven't changed much, tiles haven't changed much. We haven't really thought about too much when we lay stuff out upstairs. You look at an average 3-bedroom house, it'll look fucking same. It's just like repetitive box building. Things like that. That hasn't changed. But then you look at, I think what has changed is the higher end market. Right. So you take you got to be serious wealth. That you start looking at and you start putting all your home tech in housing and all these speaker systems and sound systems and lights and all this shit. But you can only afford it if you got money.
Got you. So it's about what putting in. But what about the people, like the workers in your do you think people are the chippies? Have the chippies progressed? Are the plasterers better?
I think it's regressed because there was years ago. Like I know 2 bricklayers, right? They're 62, 63, I think they are now, and they're going to leave this game over the next year. And I would love them. Funny, I have Billy sitting over there, buddy, under camera. I would love them to spend some time with Billy. And just give fucking, because they're a fountain of knowledge. 40 years of building houses, stuff like that. You can't tell me these guys haven't got over most things, worked out how to do this, what you're going to do with that, blah, blah, blah. They've done all that, but Billy hasn't. So if they could funnel all that like experience and knowledge into Billy, it will make Billy a repercussion of them. So my point is that I think we got all these new people coming in the industry, but we got all these old guys leaving and everything else and all the experience they had. And that's when we were a better trade. We're carpenters were a master, of woodwork and, a bricklayer. They built arches, they built all stone coins, do some beautiful work. You start asking guys to do that today, they'll be like, I can run bricks in on the line. You see those things on Instagram, Facebook. Oh yeah, all right. Like
there isn't much
fucking
creativity with
£1,000 a
it.
day.
Yeah, you're not seeing the level of creativity like we're seeing in the old days.
There's no craftsmanship.
Yeah. Well, you can say it for certain things in building, like you say the House of Parliaments, and use that as a case study, right? If you say the actual architectural structure of the Houses of Parliaments, could we still build that structure today with the same quality, given the fact they did it?
Oh, they'd be lazy. Or they'd just mould it. All they do is just mould it.
Put it in another context. Imagine trying to build it today the way they did it.
Health and safety would shut you down.
Exactly.
Health and safety would absolutely bite you in the willy. You got no chance.
This is what makes me laugh, because you go on the building stage, health and safety this, health and safety that. We have Polish workers around building sites, don't even understand English, right? So you sit in all these health and safety meetings, all the Polish guys at the back going, they do not. And you're telling them, right, this safety point, if there's a fire, you stand over there and everything else that. Sign this, right, walk out the door, now you're safe to walk on a building site. These guys don't even understand English. How the fuck can they just wander onto a building site? You go, get out of the way. They go, oh, and next thing they're run over by a dump truck because they didn't understand what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah.
So what's the point of health and safety? Is it really saving their lives or costing everybody a fucking fortune? If you had asked me, I think health and safety on a building site is imperative, but it's sensible. And the problem with it is you've got health and safety rules, or not rules, they're guidelines. So you have those guidelines for a massive company, say like Barratt Homes, and then you look at someone like Iconic Projects, us, we have to adhere to exactly the same rules as they do. But they're a huge conglomerate. They're just massive, with 30,000 staff or whatever it be. And they build 30,000 houses a year. We build 1 maybe.
Yeah, so the infrastructure they've already got in place.
Yeah, they can have that infrastructure, but how much does that infrastructure cost?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm all about doing it safely and doing it well.
Yeah.
But when you actually look at the statistics, we've implemented all this health and safety. Has it actually...
I think the most important parts I noticed.
I mean, most fucking stupid accidents that happen on a building site is because of accidents. Just a sheer accident.
Most of the accidents happen because the sites aren't clean and tidy. At the end of the day, that it's all down to how you operate as a building firm. If you're operating as a messy builder, you're going to expect more stuff to happen, because if you've got mess laying around everywhere, you're more stuff to trip on.
Yeah.
It's just common sense. It is down to that much stupidity in builders nowadays that they don't even care to clean their own sites whilst they're working till the end,
because they're not proud. They're not proud of their site.
No.
What happened to having a job and being proud of your job? Just quickly on health and safety, true story. The other day I was on a clearance, and it was honestly you could be on the MI5 building. It was that level of security, right? And they said, and I had the safety briefing video, so everything, and they said, you have to hold the handrail when going up the stairs. And I said, what? Yes, if you're going up the stairs or down the stairs, you need to hold the handrail. I said, I'm carrying office furniture, mate. What am I meant to put my winky on it?
Tie yourself in as you go down the stairs.
It was a genuine thing.
And he actually said that to you?
It was on a video. It was on a video of a very
way.
very big.
So it's got to the
Bournemouth.
point that if you weren't told. So this is how I'd understand it, in the policy of all shit, and so people can't sue each other, because this is what it's all about, isn't it? So you're in that office building, you watch this video, it instructs you to hold the handrail as you go upstairs. So if you didn't hold the handrail, and if you didn't have this instruction, that you'd walk up the stairs, if you tripped over, you could actually sue the company for not telling you to hold on to that handrail.
Yeah, let's not take into fact.
Basically, that's what would end up happening. That's why they've told you.
Yeah,
because they've had to tell you now, because they've got no fucking choice. Because if they don't tell you, you go running up those stairs, trip over and smash your leg against the thing, you can sue the company. What the fuck is wrong with that?
Honestly, the world...
when it's down to your own stupidity as
Yeah,
well.
what happened to being held accountable for your own actions?
What happened to being clumsy?
It's
What
just your
happened
own
to being
stupidity.
stupid? What happens to the fact that sometimes you just fucking fall over, you lose your feet, you trip? It's nothing that you've done. You would do it at home all the time. But you see it as an opportunity to make money, because we're fucking obsessed with it.
Well, let's say car crashes. First thing most people claim in a car crash is whiplash.
Yeah.
And you go,
Whiplash,
realistically, whiplash? Yeah, because it's cash. And you go, it's fucking nuts in the first place that you actually even can do that if you don't actually physically have damage from your body.
Yeah.
Problem we got
And
with
you can
things
work
like
that
you
system
can't
too.
prove that you've actually got it. They can't prove you haven't. So you can say, I've hurt my back, and there's no one can actually prove whether you have or not. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
It is bullshit, but that's the world we've
Oh,
lived in.
don't!
Right?
You only have to look at things like, when Audi and VW, Audi and VW, you can now like sue them because you could. When the car was bought with the false emissions, the false emissions things, the amount of times I've been emailed, did you buy an Audi or a VW between this year and this year? You could be entitled to money. Like, oh, do you know what? I had the car, sold the car, move on from it. It's done, right?
It hasn't affected you.
It hasn't affected me whatsoever.
It's just affected the standards.
It's,
of
but it's a
like,
way of a company making cash.
Yeah.
And it's just all it is just cash cow, isn't it? We're just lobbing everything these cash cows.
Yeah.
We're so obsessed with it. You go, like, watch Instagram, and everybody's driving Ferraris and Lamborghinis and looking good and on holiday in Dubai and laying on the beach somewhere. And if you think, oh my God, I want that life, but that is not real.
No, 100%.
It's not a life, is it? It's just
imagine?
a holiday.
That's all this. Oh, sorry, I say this.
no,
pointing. I don't even mean to point. But this generation, even Billy Boy, like they've grown up with this type of tech. Like I don't. There was no Facebook back in the day. There was like, I don't even.
I think I'd
Bumble.
have been.
Did you have
No,
like
not
MySpace?
Bumble. Oh,
Was
Bumble.
it MySpace?
Before MySpace, there was Bebo. Bebo.
Do you know what I had?
Yeah. What
Do
did
you know what we had?
Dinosaurs.
Art of conversation.
There we go.
We had
The
to go
lost
chat a
conversation.
girl up. We had no fucking choice because you just see somebody. You had
single-handedly.
no way. Like, you would have had mobile phones, right?
Yeah, mobile phone.
So we didn't even have mobile phones. We had the old, and then you pick up the old fucking handset. So that's where it started for us. So if you want to phone a girl, if you met somebody, even had a Ponce pen on the night out, just try and write a number on your hand or something, or a bit of paper, and that was it. And then you go home, you wouldn't know whether you'd phone her or not. It was just so different. Whereas now you got Tinder. You go, no. We didn't get luxury of choice.
It'd be nice. Can I say, because I feel like this is my topic. Like it is my topic. Like, I'm 22. I understand this better than anyone. Phones killed fucking conversation.
Oh, yeah.
It fucking destroyed the whole of the society in terms of actually communication.
Yeah.
And like the thing is now, people nowadays are so easy to hide behind your phone and make a comment or say something. Why don't you try doing it yourself?
Yeah.
And that's becoming like that.
Do you know how many people I've nearly killed in London when I'm doing a clearance, right?
Wow.
And I'm walking along with like a big desk on my arm, and I'm walking out into like a main road, and they are just glued to their phones like this, walking along. And I love it. This is very childish of mine, and I do say I get a little bit turned on when I do it, and I can see that they're not paying attention. And I've got a big desk, and I go, "Oi! I'm coming here with a big desk. Can you look, please?" Right? I have to say, I do.
Yeah.
Love
It's mad,
shouting
isn't
at
it? Because
people.
you know how many times you've been in a restaurant, and I've been in restaurants where you've seen the family of 4 sitting at the table, all on their fucking phone. And you're like, what the fuck is even the dad and the mum are doing it?
Yeah.
And then they're doing
The dad's on Tinder,
Yeah,
the mum's
yeah.
on Bumble.
Yeah, so
Let me ask you a
what are they
question,
doing?
then.
I wonder if they're texting each other. They're sitting there going, "So, what are you having for dinner? I'm thinking about having steak and chips, but what about the fucking I don't know, the pie or whatever it is?" And you're like, "For fuck's sake, just fucking throw them shit things in the bin and
So
just have
I'll
a
ask a
chat."
question to both of you then, because I know the answer. You say if you actually didn't have your phone, you walked out the house, you didn't have your phone for the whole day, how would you feel?
Got heart palpitations, Brad. Just thinking about that. I know my phone's not even in here, and it's being looked after by Gail. So and even
Heart
that,
palpitations.
yeah.
I'd love it. It's freedom.
Yeah, I
Do you know what I love?
I like not looking at my phone now. I feel like my phone for me, it just you just stare, scroll. You spend your life fucking scrolling. That ain't a life.
Brad.
You think the amount of hours our generations now spend flicking through shit like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and spend hours and hours.
Can you see that bump on my little finger?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that little bump?
Yeah.
That's from where I hold my mobile phone.
Oh my god, dude.
So I actually will hold my phone.
Yeah, but your phone's
not even
part of your-
lying. Look, it's
You
actually
got like
giving
an
me-
indent.
Yeah, I've actually got a
You
dent
got
in
an
my
indent?
hand. Yeah, I've actually got a dent.
Yeah, but
That
you
is
use your phone for a lot of work as well.
that's
So
the
then
problem.
Right,
that's the
It
it's-
makes you so dependent on
See
it.
those
Yeah.
on there?
They
They're
don't-
cutlasses from all the wanking. Well, I'm married. You gotta realise, my age, you don't get any sex.
Guys, he is my dad as well, so this puts me in an awkward.
Brad, I want to
this
bring
puts
this
me in an
topic
awkward
up. Brad,
position.
how do you
right now.
feel
My dad's
about
just
the
said about
Bonner
him
sex
wanking
life?
on
Brad,
a podcast.
Brad, I want to discuss the Bonner sex life. How do you feel about
But this is my point. Most 52
We did a
year old
marriage
guys,
counselling.
52-year-old guys will either collaborate with this and believe, or they're shagging someone younger. At the end of the day, you got to understand the builder's perspective on all of this stuff. I'm at least honest about it.
Yeah.
Always have been, always will be.
But what about if you forgot your phone, Brad? Do you really, how are you going to be on Tinder swiping? Does it not stress you out?
No, I think realistically, like when you're actually on your phone now, it's just like in terms of me being on my phone, like I don't have TikTok, never installed it because I just see so many people just scrolling. You can spend hours and hours on that app, and it's just endlessly.
I've never been on
It's
it,
created.
actually.
The algorithm nowadays is created to make you want to stay on that app as long as possible. So then all your data, you basically become a data. to these fucking people to make you be on their platform as much as possible. That is bad. That's a bad
It's
way.
currency.
It's not that. It's becoming controlling.
Yeah, because
you're getting controlled by these social media companies.
But
and
we
people
are
are so
currency.
captivated, isn't it?
Data is worth
Currency,
more.
yeah.
Data is worth more in weight than gold, than anything, because it's a way of capitalizing on what you want. They have you flicking through adverts. They're pumping it through. Oh, he swiped. He didn't like the cat one. He liked the dog one. He liked the dog with the blue lead. Maybe he's got a dog. Yeah, Brad's got a dog.
I
He
watched
likes
a
blue
program on
lead,
there.
yellow
There
lead, green
was a
lead.
film on it or something. It was on Netflix. It was like a documentary.
Social dilemma.
Yeah, it's Cambridge
and they watched
Analytica.
that, and they were
Remember
saying
that,
like, you
yeah,
look
that's a
on there,
great
don't
movie.
they? And when you look at
Great
Instagram, if you
documentary.
don't like that picture, you don't like that picture. They're trying to work out the algorithm's trying to work out what you like, and
Yeah.
to make sure it just keeps you, like you say, hooked on it and all that shit. I just think it's kind of sad because I look at it from my own point of view, and I was thinking how I met my wife, blah blah blah, and everything else. That is all kind of natural. We're at a club, or a party, and bumps into each other, or whatever it is. That wouldn't happen in this world now, so much so, because everybody's like, they would bump into someone and go, oh, fuck, she's human. What the fuck? Can I have your number so I could text you? It's sort of like you'd feel comfortable hiding behind your text message, or you're hiding behind your WhatsApp, or, you feel comfortable doing that than you are now actually just going, oh, hi, my name's Brad, or hi, my name's Steve, or... You know what I mean? And I think people are hiding behind that now. So don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people who are still mixing. So it's not everybody, but I can imagine.
I met Jen on Tinder. I met Jen on Tinder.
Yeah,
Straight up,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
can
no,
talk to
yeah.
any. I can talk to any. Like literally, I learned loads of stuff just to have a great conversation with women. I always,
You don't
always,
shut up, so you'll be
love,
all right.
love a good conversation with women. But I used to use Tinder to my advantage back in the day before you had like limited swipes.
It's like a
wouldn't-
hustle.
Yeah, I wouldn't even look. I would just swipe everyone, didn't give a shit. And then what would happen is halfway through the day, I'd be like, "Oh, you got a match. Oh, his name's Dave and he's got a beard." I'd be like, "Fucking block that." And I'd swipe anyone, male,
Again.
female, animals, didn't give a shit. And then
Anything with a hole.
yeah, 100%. I'd swipe anyone, and then I'd then nail it down, and then I used to go to the same restaurant. I'd go in and see, shout out to Alberto. You know who you are, and I'd say to Alberto, can I get a deal if I bring like a few girls in? And go, Jamie, bring who you want in, bring beautiful ladies in. I'll give you like 25% off. So anyway, what the routine was this: I would pick them up, and I had a really nice red Audi at the time, and I used to pick them up and take them in the back way, and then Chef would be there, and he'd go, "Oh, Jamie, come in," and I'd walk the girls in, and we'd go through, and Alberto would be there. "Oh, Jamie, who's this beautiful lady?" And he'd hand them a rose, and he'd sit down. Mosey would come over, and he'd put the cutlery down for the lady, and then he'd get mine and throw it in my lap, and the girl would laugh. And I had this on point. I could literally date 4 to 5 different girls a week, right? It's costing a few quid, but you move. So I meet Jen on Tinder, right? And I organise a date and everything. So I go around her house, and I lied on my profile as well. I said I was like 5'11". I'm 5'6.5", right? So
In heels.
I've rocked up with my little red car, and Jen, she goes to get in the car. And I'll never forget, she was outside having a cigarette. She's like Audrey Hepburn, right? And she's gone, "Oh, the only car that should be red is a Ferrari." And I was like, bitch. So I've opened it up, she's got in, and I just bought the watch. And what I'd done was I had the lights angled down so I could sort of like dazzle.
Flex the Rolex.
Yeah, 100%.
Honestly, get on the camera right
honestly,
now.
Lucky watch.
Lucky
watch.
This is this is
watch.
the lucky watch.
There's a whole story behind the lucky watch.
Yeah, there is actually. But,
Save that for another day.
but I think it was like The Only Way Is Essex had come out, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll be a baller and get a Rolex, right? So I'm trying to like flash it, and Jen's gone, like, he must have like dazzled her on the eye. She went, "What's that on your wrist?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a Rolex." And she went, "Oh," she said, "I bet you think you're something like The Only Way Is Essex," right? She's like, "Put that away." So I like pulled my sleeve down. I was thinking, "Oh, this is a bit of shit date. She ain't putting out." So we get to the restaurant. We park out at the back. Walk in. Chef's like, "Oh, Jamie, come in. Who's this beautiful lady?" And as we walk through, Alberto handed her a rose, and then we sit down. And Jen went, "Do you bring all your slags here?" And I'm like, wow.
She's on you.
Wow. I was like, this is
She
good.
just killed your whole plan.
Mate, she's ruined it, right? But do you know what? Do you know how I knew she was the one? This is how I knew she was the one. So I got dinner. She said to me, "Come on, I want a date with the real Jay." She said, "I don't want no messing about, no bullshit." She said, "Don't just try and get my knickers because it ain't going to happen." It did. Not going to just like... I want a date with a real person. Had the date with the real person. We had a laugh. I paid for the dinner. Of course I did. Gentleman, right? Absolutely. And I do believe that men should pay on a first
Yeah, I
date.
agree with
If
that.
a woman doesn't want to go on a second date with him, she should at least offer to pay half. And if she says, look, you're not for me, I want to pay half, then it's up to the guy if he goes, you know what? Yeah, pay half
Yeah,
the bill.
I know
Or
it's
you know,
great with that.
it's fairness. So we go off and Jen
Chivalry.
Yeah, chivalry. Chivalry with a bit of new age
Yeah,
respect on it.
yeah, I'd agree with that.
So we go off, and Jen said, she said, oh, should we go for a walk down the beach? I said, yeah, nice. We'll go for a walk. She said, I'll get a couple of hot chocolates. She went in the petrol station, a little Costa machine, so it was like 8 o'clock, and she come out with a deck of 20 Embassy, because that's what I smoked at the time. And she said, here, I got that for you. I said, why you got that? She went, well, she said, you paid for dinner. She said, I got to get you something. And I thought, wow, this is the first girl ever that's put
That's
her
when you knew you
hand-
weren't getting laid because you didn't buy your condoms.
No. They didn't do
Yeah, smoke those, fucker.
The only thing smoking tonight
fuck's
is
sake.
that. And that
Or
was-
she was thinking afterwards.
Afterwards,
You know.
there we go.
I
Didn't,
mean,
it didn't last long enough, honestly. By the time I sparked the fag up, we were done. But yeah,
That's an interesting story because I never knew that.
yeah, Tinder, and the thing is, I can chat to.
So
anyone.
would it be safe to say you least expected it when you met Jane?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Best way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. I think that's the only way it actually
The
happens.
best way. Yeah, it's the best
Like,
way
you
to meet
cannot
somebody. I
force
mean,
it.
I've been going, what, 30 or nearly 4 years.
wow.
Married 22.
Shout
so
out to Gail.
34 years. So what am I now? 52 years. So I met her when I was 18. And I bumped into her. And literally, it's like, if you could film it as a film, this is how you want to meet. So we went, I knew about Gail. Gail knew about me. I'd never seen her. My friends were interested in her. They wanted to try and go out with her and things like that. And she had blown out my mate and everything else. So I had no idea who she was. So, and she knew about me because I'd been out with her friend. But she'd never met me either, so it was really weird. And then I was at this engagement party, walking across the dance floor with a beer in my hand, and she bumped into me. And I turned around and I went, oh, you spilled my beer everywhere. Like this. And she goes, well, I'll go to the bar, buy you another one.
Chivalry.
And yeah, and it was all like, so we went to the bar, we had to having a drink, and we were having a laugh and a joke, and that was it. And I can't remember anything else after that. So
That's mad, isn't it?
it was
it's
literally
crazy how
that
you
quick.
all have moments in your life when you meet someone and like how it can
Oh, if that happens,
transform
take
your
it.
your
Yeah.
life.
So I
it's crazy.
remember before I was with Jen, I was with a girl called Rochelle.
So,
Oh,
just,
yeah,
just change the subject slightly.
get back
Billy.
onto.
So you've got to get rid of your blow-up girlfriend and find a real one.
So by the way, Billy's our B-roll cameraman right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck he's been doing. If it's any good,
So
he's
Billy
never done this before. So
he's a
we'll
bricklayer.
Yeah, he's a
stroke
bricklayer.
builder, but he's
Stroke
now learning to be
cameraman.
a photographer.
So cameraman.
At the age of 21 as well.
Videographer.
So yeah,
So Bill, at 21 years old, shout out. I got, because he's hidden behind the camera there
right,
doing
so we've
his
had a bit
little
of a
job.
random topic and random discussion. I'll drag us
agree with
back
that, yeah.
into
Go,
it
go, yeah,
now.
take us
Right,
back.
So one thing that I think is important for us is our jobs and main thing is us being builders. Me and you are my father Steve is.
Have you known me for a long time, have you?
How long have you
I've
known
done
him
this.
for,
I've
Brad?
done this so many times. Whenever I try and talk about you, I forget. It's like
How good I am.
shut up.
I can't believe I come from your nutsack.
Yeah.
He's got the magic
Unfortunately, I
wand. He can
did,
tell you where
so-
to go.
We've had this discussion about what happened when you were in the womb, didn't we?
That's a big head, that is, Brad. Where did that head come
I'm
from?
getting abused here. Come on. No, but I'll drag us back
It's
to
like
it.
bird shit down the
It's
beach.
like- fuck's sake, man. Fuck's sake. Shut up.
This conversation's going downhill faster. Don't let me drink another Monster Energy drink.
Yeah, he's got way too much energy now.
So I need to go for
No,
a run.
I think it's important for us to actually discuss who we actually are as builders. Like we're a building company. We run a building company, me and you together, and we've been
Couldn't do it
running
without
it
me.
for 4 years now. It's called Iconic Projects. Like I feel like it's important for that to be told because now we can say like you've had over 40 years of experience really in the industry, and that's just crazy in comparison.
Jay's had
to-
5 minutes.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah, I've had 4. I've had 4 years.
Yeah.
But you look at it and
And
go
that was
like,
the intro to me and just handing over the first money.
yeah. No, but it's as a serious note, like the building industry has a massive problem growing,
Oh, it does,
and
yeah.
it's growing from the core, which is where builders just aren't providing the service and qualities nowadays like we used to.
I think we've lost sight of what building's all about.
We lost the art.
And yes, an art. The lost art. It's a lost art. We're letting it leave every single day of the week, every single day of the year. We're letting it leave this industry and we're losing the art. And then we're hoping that somehow, fuck knows how, this is going to be regenerated. I believe like what we're doing as Iconic Projects and what we're doing as people and as persons and what I've done for 30 years is got to keep funneling your, if I'm a good builder and I can teach Brad to be a better builder, that's exactly what anybody would want. As a teacher down to a student, to teach the students to be better. What I've realised with this age group that we're dealing with today, sort of, I say 21, let's just say 21 to 23-year-olds, just picking that group. These are the advancement of everything we believed is right. So we spend all our money sending our kids to great schools, making sure they get academically clever, make sure they do really well in the GCSEs, make sure they do really well in their A-levels, make sure they're going to get a degree. So we spend all this money on education, and then when they come out of uni, they can't get a job because they've got no experience. Or we don't trust you to do the job. But yet we spent thousands and thousands and thousands. And our true belief is that if we've academically treated you correct, you should be very clever. Proof is in the pudding. Brad, Bailey, Billy, Ash, all these people, they're all, well, Ash isn't, Billy isn't, but they haven't done the uni thing, but...
I think
did you
it's
do?
important.
You done the uni thing, did you?
No, I didn't do uni. I just
No.
went to sixth form, studied economics, history.
and I
politics.
just think there's
Right.
an untapped source there. The problem we've got in this industry, we're allowing everybody to leave with all the experience, and then we're going to throw in a bunch of people with no experience. But those people with no experience can learn 3-4 times quicker than we could when we were kids. So the point is if we can get the younger ones into the industry now, while the older ones are still there, the older ones can teach this younger breed, and then we got an advancement. We got a way of improving the industry.
One thing we haven't talked about, and one thing that's important to talk about before we say this any further, is like, why is building itself needing to be developed further? And it's because building is a foundation for our economy.
Yes.
And this is looking as the greater UK, and the actual economy itself needs to develop further. This country is not growing. You look at comparisons.
So I've got a question for you then.
Go on, ask me a
So
question.
my question to you, obviously we've got
we're
builder
at school
over
no more.
there.
We don't need to
No,
put
we
your
are-
hand
we
up.
are-
Yeah, put your hand up. Please, sir. Can I ask a question?
Sir, it's me in the
I've
corner.
got a
Me in the
question.
corner.
Go on, sir.
Right. Question is, so you are the youngest one. You're the closest one here to school age.
Yeah.
How can you make How can this generation make building more sexy so that then people will actually leave school and want to become builders, chippies, tradesmen?
I think the thing is, it's all down to perception of
Okay.
the actual industry itself. Like the perspective, I say perspective, sorry, of the industry is terrible. Like, it does not have a great image, and that's the first problem. To why building right now is not got the attraction and the investment it needs. It's all down to the image of the builders. And you look at the actual image of a builder and a stereotype.
Should we do
And
that? Should we lock it down? Because when you say builder to
When
me,
you
I'm
say
thinking
no,
hairy
no.
bum.
Yeah, no, you're
Trousers
thinking
down.
topless bloke
Yeah,
that
I
walks
think-
around, he's got hairy chest.
Would you say, again, it sort of spools down to the same thing that we were saying earlier about people, clients, and under. It's lack of knowledge. You as kids, like, let's just talk about as kids. So this is saying kids. I'm 52, so I'm an old fucker. So, but you don't actually know what any of these people do.
Well,
So
that's-
you see this image and you see this picture of a guy like might show you like a nice extension or whatever it is on Instagram and all this sort of stuff, but you have no idea how that was built. And I think there was a degree of builders is born in this world. There's a percentage of us that are designed to be builders, and it's just whether we realise we get the opportunity to do what we really love doing or not. And I think the problem comes is as we've grown up, we've allowed, we've got to trade, get a trade. If you're not very good at school academically, or if you get a trade. And it's fucking right, really, because I've known some not smartest guys in the world be absolutely superb tradesmen. Because you don't have to be smart to be a tradesman, because you're working with your hands, not your head. So someone else that works with a head is not very good at working with the hands. So you've got to find out which one you are. You're a brain, you're a manual. If you're a manual, go work in the building industry. It's the most satisfying thing in the world, because once you understand it, and I think the problem with Brad's age group is they don't actually understand.
Well, I think it's
what
important
a
to know
bricklayer is and what a builder is.
In my 22 years of life and my 18 years in education, as you're looking at it from 0 to
Have you
18.
known me all that time? Just out of curiosity.
But yeah, funny enough, I have. Fuck off. That's in the documentary. What does that say, Bill? All right, yeah, okay, that's fine. What we're trying to say is, like, go back to it. It's like the actual education. I did not once in my 18 years of being at school, from 0 to 18 in my age category, did not know anything about building. Never taught about it. Never actually come up and addressed as a future career path. Right, when we actually, it's the basics and the foundation to your economy. So they don't even teach you that. The one thing that is needing to build this, maintain this world we are actually living in, because the maintenance is, funny enough, done by builders in this world, by the hard workers, the people who work with their hands. They're funny enough, the people that build this world. How do you think Dubai's built in the sand? It's built with people with hands. And that's an industry to look at, which fascinates me. And you go to like Dubai and you use that as a case study, and you go, look how Dubai are building a world in the sand. They built it from nothing. You look at 20 years ago, the photos of Dubai, to what they are to now. And that's just incredible. But we as a country do not see a value in building no more. Because
and that's exactly what I was going to go on to. Yeah. So you look at Dubai and how futuristic it is. You look at Singapore, you look at China, you look at all that like forward-thinking countries is what I would call them. They're thinking all the time. They're innovating. So they want to be at the lead of the pack, not at the back. And we've gone, we're the best at everything we do, UK. Best at everything we do. Well, we're fucking not anymore. We used to be. But I ain't being funny. But I've lived in Bournemouth, I can't remember when I moved down in the late 70s. So let's just say, what's that, fucking 40 years. So I've lived in Bournemouth for 40 years. And in my 40 years, all I've watched is Bournemouth deteriorate. There's no investment. Everything's been built and just left. So no improvement. There's no innovation. There's no looking forward. The beaches have got worse. You know, the promenade lacks character. It's got fuck all going on.
So which is actually back to our original thing of saying there's no value in anything because everything's a throwaway state.
Exactly. And if you put Bournemouth in Dubai or into a forward-thinking country, Bournemouth would be this hot spot that people would travel from around the world to come and see. But I wouldn't come to Bournemouth. If you're coming down to Bournemouth on holiday, you'd look at it and go, if it's a fucking rainy day, you're fucked. You can go for a walk.
Smelly old sea life. That sea life centre that I've been in. Absolutely hot.
I mean, it's fucking minging. You go down there, the toilets were fucking exactly the same as when I grew up as a kid. We haven't even fucking proved the look.
Well, let's be honest. The beach is the one thing in Bournemouth.
We're relying on a piece of beach.
That actually is like the actual main attraction. It's our tourism.
Did you not see the digger that fell over and they done the video? So our council that are in charge of getting all the sand dug left the digger there.
How they managed to do that anyway, because the tide doesn't come in that quick. So the guys in the digging, the water's getting a bit deep in it. I'll leave it a bit longer. It's like, fucking hell, really?
And that is the level of builders we've got today. They can't even build the beach properly.
When they actually sort of put that,
Well, you look at how many problems there are in building as like house builders, and the amount, like you say, there's people out there that now video snag builders. Like, how just actually get your head around the fact that that's actually a job.
Yeah, I know.
In an industry that should be the most professional industry in the world. Yeah. And this industry needs to be totally
If I had a professional snagger turn up on my fucking job, I would throw him off and say, well, actually, no, I wouldn't. I'd actually go, come in, see if you can find a fucking problem, cunt.
Yeah.
I fucking hate people like that. Come here. I'd be like, you know, fucking dickhead. Because it's like, it shouldn't be that way, and building shouldn't be that way, and you don't need someone to come in there and tell you what's wrong with building, because if you've got any pride in what you do, that wouldn't be a problem, because you wouldn't have it.
I think it's also important to note, building is an art. It's very difficult. It's built by your hands.
We built our last
blood,
project.
sweat, and tears into building.
Yeah, we built our last project for our client. Big house, very big house. and they've not snagged it. I have. If I can tell you on my hand right now what's left to do in that house.
Really?
Because it's literally down to that.
Nice.
So I can walk through the house, there's not a crack in the walls, there's nothing wrong, there's no paint where it shouldn't be, you know. Everything is crisp. I can even tell you that the first floor bedroom door, on the outside of the door handle sticks in a sort of like lower position, just one flicking up. But I know it's like it. And I need to just fix it. But I need someone to go in the house.
That's someone that cares about your job.
That's how close I've got to what I believe is perfect. Because if it isn't right, fix it.
Yeah.
And then it is right. And once you fixed it, that's something else you can cross off the list. There's always, when you build it, I mean, we spent 2.5 years building our house. And when you spend 2.5 years building a house with the amount of components, people, hours, mental, how much goes into building something like that and how much cost goes into building something like that, which you have to manage all of that as the builder. So you're not just building a house, you've got to manage all the finances, you've got to manage all the accounts, you've got to manage all your men, you've got to manage the fact that one of you, we had fucking guy, you know, we had guys, people come in and do the staircase. The guy just randomly walks outside, he's out in the road, fucking keels over, fucking dies.
Yeah, that was real.
I mean,
experience.
Nick's there pumping away on this guy, and if Nick hadn't done
yeah.
that for 10 minutes for CPR and all this stuff, because we had people on site that were trained,
It's mad, isn't it?
we kept that guy going, which managed to keep him going to get him in the ambulance, and they kept him going for 2 days because of what Nick did, saved his life. But that gave that guy a chance to say goodbye to his son.
Yeah.
In person, which was, and then he died in hospital a few days later, which was really unfortunate. But the one thing I was so pleased about is that he actually got the opportunity to say goodbye to his son. And his son wouldn't have had that opportunity if we hadn't have been on site and been trained. But that's how fucking crazy and the shit you have to put up with for being a builder. And everybody turns around to you going, oh, well, I'm not happy. It's a couple of weeks later than it should have been. And you go, I've organised thousands and thousands of different pieces to go in this house with all the men. And there's things that go on that you can't deal with. You know, a guy dies on your site, or not on your site, but off your site, but you know what I mean. That happens. So what do you do? Phone the company up, go, oh, I know that guy's keeled over this afternoon, now been taken to hospital. They're trying to send me another guy tomorrow, because they're going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I appreciate you want the job done, but this has just landed on us as well.
I mean, if
But the client would look at it and go, where's the stairs not finished? They go, well, because the fucking stonemason's in hospital, fucking half dead. Oh, yeah, but when's the job going to be finished? And you're like, wow.
So it's not only it's sort of you are dehumanized as a builder because you're just a machine in their wheel of getting their job done.
Just build me my house I want and get it done.
Yeah, we're
now.
just personal
what?
bitches for people, and it's the most frustrating thing
That's
because
what it's
this
felt
world,
like for the last
this
3
world
years.
we have so much to offer as creators, as people who can physically transform this world. If I was allowed to go to BCP Council and just put in front of town centre and go sort this fucking place out, I would build the best town centre in the fucking country with our team and our capabilities as a company. We could do that. But the council aren't prepared to fund shit like this when they have billions and billions of pounds of investment projects in potential, and they choose to go build 1,100 new build houses, and you're there like in where was it?
Oh, good. More houses. There's another 1,100 houses for the professional snaggers to go round and fucking.
But how are these people
remember
getting the
the exact
mortgages? How are the people getting these mortgages? Because everything has changed. The interest rates has gone through the roof in comparison to what it is. So if they done the loan calculator on 4.5 to 5 times your annual salary, how the fudge does that work now? Because interest rates have gone 3 to 4 times what they were at. So now you're building all these professional homes. That's great. And we're taxing all the landlords. You're going to pay 20% gross on it rather than on your net. Like, you are hammering landlords. You're not allowing people to buy them because there's no real governmentally backed scheme that isn't an absolute joke. Like, so what?
Well, but what's going to happen? Let's think about it really. So landlords are like they're getting taxed on the thing on the rates now. The buy-to-let mortgage has gone through the fucking roof. So the interest rates now. So you're now looking at a 3-bedroom house is costing a landlord $2,000 a month on the mortgage and everything else. That how the fuck can someone afford to rent that? And even if they can, they're gonna. So all of a sudden you're going from 3-bedroom house of £1,000 a month to a 3-bedroom house is now £2,000 a month. You got to find that £2,000. But my point is then what happens is the landlord's struggling. He's getting taxed by the government. He's struggling to make the money the thingy to pay for it all. Then the tenants are going to struggle then to be fucking paying the tenancy. So then the landlord takes them to court and evicts them, and then they end up free and thrown at the sort of kind of thrown on the floor in front of the council and go, I need your help to help me. So what we're going to end up doing is driving all the people that were renting properties into the council thingy for emergency housing. Yep. And we haven't got any emergency housing because all the houses the council have got are so run down. Point proven with the house we did a couple of weeks ago.
Just a note, 2 weeks ago we decided to renovate a council house for a lady that was really struggling. We did like this event
giveaway.
Giveaway where we wanted to give back to society and show what we can really do to a person's property in a week, given our limited resources and what we could actually do for this person's house and property. So we just walked in, didn't know it was a ex-council house. It was run down to hell.
Well, we didn't actually know the story, if the truth be known.
No, we didn't know. We didn't.
If you look at it now,
didn't really have the information.
We ran that little competition. The daughter wrote in, wanting to help her mum out and just being nice for her mum, and it became a good story for us, as in, mum of 4, living in the house on her own, 4 kids she's bringing up, just everything's out of control and everything. We then decided on the Friday night, didn't we, that this is the job we want to do, so we text her, get some permission from her mum, and then just rocked up on the Monday morning. Not actually knowing what the fuck we were walking into. So I rocked up there, and I went, oh my God, this is literally the worst house I've ever seen. I mean, overgrown, you couldn't even see the fucking house on the road. And it was like, and then I went round the back and realised how big the garden was, and I was like, Jesus, there's 7 of us, this is going to be a task. Well, 6 of us actually, because there was only 6 working. I'm not working. And we started on it, and the boy's just fucking genius. And I mean, now you look at it, you've made an ugly home, which has been apparently like that for 15 fucking years. And what makes me laugh is the council give you the house and expects you to pay rent on it, and they haven't even fucking. If you wouldn't rent that fucking house, so it's emergency housing, but what the fuck? The value of a property is worth how nice it is, right? So if you have a nice property, you rent it out, it's worth, I don't know, just random figure, 250 grand. You have a shithole that you rent out, it's worth 100 grand. So when you invest in the property, because it's actually a better investment for you as a person, so as a landlord, have a nicer homes, higher interest.
It all goes back to that point where you're saying that people want investing back into property. It all goes back to the problem in the fact the builders are the problem to reasons why people aren't investing. There's not good enough builders out there. There's not a good enough demand of builders that actually care about their jobs. The builders that are in this industry need to change how they think completely, because if we all suddenly cared about the quality of our work and only cared about the quality, did not cut anything to help and do the job cheaper, because if you don't do it proper, it's not going to have the longevity. No. So you just shouldn't do it. And that should be the guidelines that you should be. If you want your new patio, it's going to cost you 10 grand to get it, but you get a price for someone to do it in 5. There's a reason why you're getting it for 5.
But they're building all these flats and things. I don't even know what it's called, so I could be saying it wrong. But they look like they were timber built, and these just boards were going up, and then they were like rendering over these boards. They're down. It's down near Screwfix at Poole.
I haven't seen it.
So on the left-hand side, as you're going down Screwfix, on your right, they've literally built these 3 big like blocks of flats, and they have thrown them up in less than 6 months. Literally thrown them up.
Cheap, affordable housing.
Yeah, and it's not going to be
I
there.
get it. No. Don't get me wrong. There's a market for cheap, affordable housing because you need cheap, affordable housing just to give somebody something. But the problem we got is like, I look across the UK and you've seen it, all these mining towns and all these towns that have died. And everything's died, right? So you take a street, there's streets up somewhere, I don't know where, but there'll be streets where there's just all the houses are boarded up and they don't know what to do with it, and the whole community basically isn't there. So we got all these people coming into the country, go, put them in that community, because they're going to build a community then. You integrate all these different people, bring them into these areas, do up all these neighbourhoods, get everybody working for themselves, and start building these communities back up again. Because you put 100 people in an area that no one's in, there's going to become an economy from that. People want food, people want shops, people need clothes, people need TVs, people need, you start to build an economy. We've got to invest, as a UK, we need to invest in ourselves. And we've stopped investing in ourselves many years ago. I haven't seen anything improve. I've seen us build some amazing stuff, the Shard, and we've got all these different architectural pieces.
Yeah, but you can say the only thing in London is the Shard.
Yeah, but
the Shard
look at New
isn't
York.
that great.
Look at New York and how infested that is, and how big it is, and how much they keep improving it, making it better, and all this sort of stuff. It's fascinating. With the UK, we're just holding on to our history and go, well, we built the Houses of Parliament and we built London Bridge, so we're fucking geniuses. Yeah, we were 150 years ago when we built this shit, but we didn't advance from that. We used to go back in the 80s to go over to Germany. All the guys were going over to Germany. Labour was flooding into Germany. Teach Germany how to build. It's embarrassing now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing now, because they can build better than we can.
Do you know what's
And we've lost the art. It's like we finished the war and we forgot about building.
But we've just become middlemen. That's the thing. We've become so lazy. We'd rather employ other people to do a job for us than what we can actually do. We are just lazy now. There is no strive for
it's
it.
easy.
Well, yeah, we just throw
Deliveroo says
away,
all
let's
that,
be
doesn't it?
honest.
So, you get a Deliveroo who saves you cooking.
Yeah.
You lost the art of cooking now. Whereas back in the day, we didn't have takeaways. It's just fucking mum cooks, and she cooked amazing food.
I think it's important to note that this is a very difficult topic to actually talk about because building's got so many variables, so
I
much
think building
variety.
is something that we will try to unravel over weeks of this podcast.
Yeah, it's going to take us time to get our heads around what we want to truly say, how we want to truly come across. This industry is ruined. It needs totally rebuilding, and we're trying to piece that together and try and present you guys an actual possibility to how we could kind of sort this shit out. Because if we don't sort this shit out, I guarantee in 10 years' time, this country would be dead. It would be in a total recession where we won't be able to get out of it. We physically won't be able to rebuild out of this
AI
country.
get us out of it.
AI
There won't be any jobs. We'll all just be sat there. We'll just all be sat there while these robots are like doing everything. And it's like, human race. It's going to be terrifying. We won't even be having sex, Brad. We'll be getting wanked off by machines, and then we'll go and deliver the sperm. Deliver sperm. Good afternoon, and then you drop them off to you.
That's actually
crazy.
It was in a film years ago. They didn't touch each other.
It's actually even occurring.
It is getting. I agree with exactly what you said. Is like for us to try and explain building is going to take time over the podcast. We hope that it's just our perspective. It's only our perspective because it's just our point of view. It's not fucking God fact. There's so many different ideas about how it could be worked, but we can just try and explain our way and how it's worked for us and how we found it, and then hopefully people will learn from that and learn from this experience that we have in this podcast.
Yeah, we also want to talk about random shit as well. We don't always want to make it about this building because it's important for everyone. Like, building's incredibly complicated. You can keep going around in circles talking about this problem. The lack of investment, the lack of opportunities for people to move into the industry is another thing we haven't touched on. And then you're going into the training of this industry, how that needs totally rethinking. Then you need to go into the fact that the UK needs totally reinvesting in every avenue. Why they considered stuff like the HS2 right now was the dumbest idea. I don't know whoever come up with that needs shooting, because that was the worst investment opportunity they could have done.
Can we do that now?
And
so if people start listening to us, right, and we get in charge of this, right, I'll go around and go, who come up with the HS2 project? Bust a cap in your ass. You're fucking gone, mate.
It's granted.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but it's granted. Like,
can't really do that,
we need to now.
I think female builders. I think the problem is there's been too much cock in the industry.
There needs some women. There needs some fucking women in this industry.
I think we need female builders.
They'd be way more precise than a bloke would ever be.
Do you know what? Actually, I think you're right.
There probably would be better. I've
trained quite a few. Well, I say trained quite a few women, but I've been involved in making sure women have been trained in this industry. Not because of anything, but just I think if someone shows an interest, I don't give a shit what you are. I don't care who you are. If you really want to learn, I'll show you. And I've always said that to everybody that comes and works for us. It's up to you whether you fuck it up or not. I'll give you the chance. That's all I can do is try and help you get that. And I said, if you pick up on it, fucking fantastic. If you don't, I'm sorry. if you don't only do it for 3 months, you've learned something. It's going to give you a better understanding.
I think it's important for everyone, anyone that's like my age especially, if you're sat there losing track on what career path you want to go down, just consider building, because it's one hell of a career. You could take it anywhere in the world and you've always got a job. And you've always got safety, and you've always got a very good, secure income. That's something building doesn't get you. You don't get taught at school. You don't. It gets hidden. Everyone wants you to go down the financial route in this world. Well, funny enough, building's the thing that built the financial sector. And if you don't invest back into that, it's not going to build this country any further. And
all I can say,
the reason why we look at our economy and go, you got our 0.2% growth this quarter, and you go, that is terrible when you're comparing any other country that is investing like we are. They need to totally.
Well, I think on that note, what you could turn around and say now is that if you're ever interested in getting into the building, ever interested in being involved in that type of thing, start looking into it, start doing some research. There is building companies out there that will give you a job. They're few and far between, because I know they are, because I've seen it for myself. And I think that's half the problem. There's no education from the actual builder side to want to train. That's where it all lies down to. That's where we finish this podcast. And that's where we end it today, is that we turn around and go, like, if we are willing to change, we can never change the building industry. The building industry has to change because the people in it want to change it. And that has to start from us talking about it now. We're 2 people working in this industry, offering 4 or 5 other people the opportunity to learn. If we do that, somebody else does that, somebody else does that, somebody else does that, somebody else does that. All of a sudden, you've got 20, 30 people learning how to work in the building industry. And that's only going to be an improvement, because that 20 or 30 are going to teach another 20 or 30, and that's going to teach another 20 or 30. Before you know it, you're starting to fill this 250,000 void that we've got. That's 250,000 per year. So if we're looking 3-4 years' time, we're looking at 1 million people short.
Per capita, that's loads.
That is fucking
But we've got a huge
shit.
demand of people working in these jobs for these corporate companies, such as. Well, you just.
But my point is,
you can just.
But my point is like, so you got
demand.
a corporate company, right? You got these people want to make all this money out in the building industry and everything. So all these millionaires, what do they want to live in?
Big, nice,
really nice
houses.
fucking houses. Will there be nobody left to fucking build them? So if you don't start investing your money back into the UK economy and into the way this world works into the future, you won't be living in your nice swanky houses anymore, because there'll be no fucking to build them.
What a way!
That's
What a way!
That's a way to end it.
What a way to
That's
end
actually a
it!
good
What a
way
way to end it! If you don't invest back, you're going to live in a shithole.
Hold on, wait, for a second. Me and Jay are just going to do a little 1-to-1. We're going to send the old guy off because he decided to talk all throughout the podcast and didn't allow us a word to say.
I'm sat here cross-legged. I'm dying for a wee.
No. Yeah, so I think it's an interesting topic, isn't it, to discuss. There's so much to talk about. Like, it's hard to exactly nail it because it's so much.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've hit on something. I think there's a lot of relevance with businesses, smaller businesses, bigger businesses. They're all going to have, an insight into everything, and everything's interlinked with each other. Whether or not you're talking of the financial sector or you're talking about the building sector, here she is.
We're still
Do
you want to come in the podcast?
Can we
just come on it
can
for
we
a
not have
second?
Gail?
Split second.
You look beautiful.
Natural, a natural woman. That's what you should embrace.
I'm just going to have a quick shower. I'm going to go round to your house and watch a film, Casey.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
See, nothing. And hang on, the house you're living in, who built that?
My father, and it was shit.
Oh.
We're ending on that.